Welcome to Coaches Roundtable. I'm Ed Codi. To my right, the Swami George Abraham. To my left, the Tiger Albert Campman. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. How fast is this basketball season going?
Because we're older.
Oh, man, I thought football went
fast. The years
fast.
go fast. The months go fast. The days go fast.
Let's go to Spotlight. Top scorers. What a year this kid's having. Braylon Littlejohn of Butler, 28 points. How about freshman Tegan Fanukin Anaki at 26. Tasso Stefanos of Mars, 24, and it puts him over 1,000 for his career. Andrew Madelon of North Catholic, 24. Elijah Adams of Summit Academy, 24. And Dylan Gordon of Slippery Rock, he had back-to-back games of 20 points. For the girls, Amelia McMichael of Butler, what a game she had. 33 points and 12 rebounds in a 65-61 win over Pine Richland. Malena Desort of Freeport, 29. Chloe Fritch of Karn City, 28. Madison Savaski of Pine Richland, 20. And Justine Forbes of Butler, 21. Butler Wrestling improves to 14-0. The number 2 ranked Tornado, they won the Virginia Duels at Hampton, Virginia. And freshman Santino Sloboda improves his record to 21-0. Butler boys bowling, they win the North Section title. Let's go to our basketball power rankings for the boys. Back on top, Newcastle, followed by Mount Lebanon, Central Catholic. Guys, this is a team that's really streaky. You know, they had a week where they beat Butler, Newcastle, and Lincoln Park, and then they lost 2 games. So they're at 8-7. Butler 12-3. Upper St. Clair 9-7. Butler this week they take on a number 2 4A Hampton and then surging Seneca Valley. 2 tough games. In 5A, it's Penn Hills, Gateway, Peters Township, North Hills, and Mars. In 4A, Lincoln Park, Hampton, Uniontown, South Allegheny, and Laurel Highlands. Uniontown with that win over Laurel Highlands in overtime.
South Allegheny had Newcastle beat the whole game, lost in double overtime. So I know they're pretty
61-56 that ended up. And in 3A, it's Mohawk, Washington, Deer Lakes, Olsh, and Shady Side Academy. I'm glad to see that Joe Roth is back for Elwood City. They won a couple games.
They play Mohawk tonight, so it'll be
interesting. That'll be a good one. Where's the game?
At Elwood.
And in 2A, Eden Christian, Bishop Canavan, Aliquippa, Fort Cherry, and Karn City. And 1A, Union, undefeated, followed by Monessen, Imani Christian, Aquinas Academy, and Carlington and Neighborhood Academy. For the girls, in 6A, Norwin, Upper St. Clair, Mount Lebanon, North Allegheny, and Peters Township. 5A, South Fayette, Oakland Catholic, Mars, McKeesport, in Indiana. In 4A, Blackhawk, North Catholic, Elizabeth Forward, Quaker Valley, and Beaver. In 3A, Laurel, Shady Side Academy, Apollo Ridge, Waynesburg Central, Keystone Oaks, and Avonworth. And in 2A, Freedom, Greensburg Central Catholic, Sarah Shenango, and Montauk. And how about Montauk? The Lady Warriors beat previously unbeaten North Clarion. North Clarion was 14-0, and Montauk shut them down 40-25. In 1A, St. Joseph, Bishop Canavan, Aquinas Academy Union, and West Green. Let's go to our stories of the week. NFL playoffs, AFC. Chiefs 27, Jaguars 20, despite an ankle sprain to Patrick Mahomes. There goes your backup. Chad Henne come in, did a pretty good job, engineered a 98-yard drive through a 1-yard touchdown pass. I didn't think Holmes was coming back. He came back, but he wasn't himself. So a big win here. The Chiefs, again, they're going to their 5th straight AFC championship game. Trevor Lawrence and Jags made it interesting. Key fumble there at the 5-yard line might have made a whole difference in the game.
Absolutely. That game looked like just what was going to happen all day. Kansas City couldn't quite separate themselves enough. You could see that last drive coming. They get there down, kick a field goal, and don't win the game, but they make it close.
Yeah, Jags come in fired up. I'm impressed with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I'll say something sounds kind of stupid, but I'm going to say that Jacksonville was the most impressive team in the playoffs to me.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't disagree with that.
They remind me of the Steelers when they first started out with Bradshaw.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they took off. Jacksonville looks really, really good to me. Going to Kansas City, and they're really good.
They get a few. They have a good running game. They have some decent receivers. I think patch up
their
defense.
Defense is pretty good.
Defense is pretty good. They're very, very aggressive. Doug Peterson. That goes to show you when you get a good coach what a difference he can make. So this was Andy Reid's 20th playoff win. The weakness there for the Chiefs, I don't know if you guys know, the Jags returned 3 kickoffs and averaged 40 yards a kickoff return.
Absolutely, after the first one.
Huge.
They'll tighten this up. They did it twice more.
They can't do that coming into the
no,
championship
you can't
game.
let them start in the 50.
Buckner used to kick the ball out of the end zone, see?
Yeah.
You know, when you're used to doing that, all of a sudden you get kind of lazy. I'm figuring it'll be a lot better this week if he's not going to kick it out.
I'm betting Mahomes doesn't practice till maybe Thursday.
I agree.
This week with it. They say it's a high ankle sprain. He's going to be able to
You
play.
know he's been in treatment 24/7.
Oh, yeah.
He's carrying one of those stims with him now.
Yeah. So, and once again, you know, people might say, well, you got Chad Henne. He's 14-year veteran. He's 35 years old. He knows the offense. He's smart. He's not going to do anything stupid. Boy, it just goes to show you better have a good backup quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, you're not being Cincinnati with Chad Henne, though. I'm saying this.
No, that's not going to
And
happen.
not only that,
Yeah.
Campman ball was on the 2.
Yeah.
If you were ever going to dig in and stop in Jacksonville, that was the
They
time.
ran
He
the ball.
took him on a 98-yard drive.
50-yard run in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a 50-yard. You don't give
Pacheco.
You very seldom get 50-yard runs in a practice.
Right. But he was 5
Yes.
for 7 passing.
Oh, he's like
Yeah.
you said, he's a good
Yeah.
backup.
You know,
Yeah.
and one thing you mentioned Pacheco, what Andy Reid does, he finds these players, whether they're receivers, running backs, and a lot of guys that we never even hear of, and they end up being stars for him. The other running back got hurt, high ankle sprain, Edwards, and now Pacheco steps in, does a terrific job for them.
You know how I always say, if they knew he was good, they wouldn't have waited to the 7th round. See, they got lucky. That is, you get a Brady. You go right down. You
Yeah.
get somebody 7th round.
But he does find a lot of players that no one really talks about.
Well, no, I didn't say he doesn't, but it's
Yeah.
luck. It's not like he finds them. If he knew about him, he would have took him in the 4th round.
And the other thing with him, it's funny, when he was in Philly, he was known for this big dummy that couldn't manage the clock. Now he goes to Kansas City, wins once, loses 4, and he's a genius.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, if he wins this one, he's going to Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, he's been to 3 Super Bowls,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Lost one with Philly, won one and lost one with the Chiefs.
Absolutely.
He's second all time in playoff wins
And
with
he's
20.
in the championship game every
yeah,
year.
he's
5,
only
right?
He's second. Yeah, 5 straight.
Oh,
He's second
my.
only to Belichick in playoff wins.
You know my thoughts all the time because I'm a players guy. He's had Mahomes and what was the kid from Syracuse's name?
Oh, yeah.
He's had 2 quarterbacks that are top.
McNabb.
McNabb.
You know that's what happens
Hey,
because
but-
he's a really good offensive coach and he can really build around quarterbacks like that. You know,
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Hey, Bengals 27 and Bills 10. Cincinnati dominated the Bills from the start to the finish. They controlled the trenches. They won it up front, and they never let the Bills get up off the turf. They rushed for 172 yards. They hold the Bills to 63. And the underrated Cincy defense.
The line of scrimmage won that one. You're right.
Oh, they just
of all the
dominated.
games, it was just a rout. I mean, offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
And never
When you
14-0
thought maybe
was done.
Yeah, they have this early blitzkrieg. They come out and they just stun you right away. You have to defend the field against them, sideline to sideline, and who do you double up on the receivers? And
You
then,
don't.
and then that tandem at running back. P. Ryan really
Mixon-
impressive. He can
Mixon
do
had a
everything.
big day.
235
And you
pounds.
can't guard number 1.
Right.
Chase again.
But the other side of the ball won that game, though.
Absolutely.
They held Buffalo to 10 points.
Yeah.
Buffalo averages
It's the
30.
lowest of the year.
Yeah.
Well, you bring that up. Let me say this about Buffalo. I think they're good, but here's where they come up short if they want to be a Super Bowl team. They need to beef up that running game. And their defense, their last 3 playoff games, they've given up 90 points, 30 points a game. That's not Super Bowl caliber defense.
Yeah, you have to get it done, and they didn't get it done. It's really simple.
No.
Yeah, there's no reason. I don't want to talk about it anymore. As far like in my eyes, until they win one, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, the window's closed.
It's closing. Yeah,
it's closing.
absolutely.
It's closing. So whatever they have to do, I know they put a lot of money. What's Ellen going to make? 40 million, 45 million.
All quarterbacks are good, dude.
But they need to find a way to shore up that defense. They need some more help in that defensive front. You get guys for 172 yards, you're hurting somewhere. And outside of Milano, they're hurting at that linebacker position. I don't know that they're going to pay Edmonds that money that he wants.
He's going to go.
And if one of the better quarterbacks, like Carr or somebody comes to the Jets, now it's really going to be tougher.
Yeah, be interesting. So, will the Bills' defenses that? Let me back up here and say this. I want to talk about Cincy's defense against Kansas City's offense. Kansas City's offense against the Bengals' defense.
I think it's an even game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think it's very even. I'll be shocked if the game doesn't come down to the wire again.
I'll say pending on the mobility of Mahomes.
Yeah, I would say with 8 days to get better, he'll be as close to normal, and then they'll shoot him up. You know that. They won't tell you that.
So now let me ask you the question I hear a lot of people talking about. Who is the best quarterback? Is it Josh Allen? Is it Joe Burrows? Is it Patrick Mahomes?
Mahomes.
You take Mahomes?
Not even.
I think it's close with Burrows.
I don't think it's close.
I do.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think Mahomes that good.
I have the guy at Buffalo third just because of his mistakes. Till he does what Mahomes does. Now, Burrow goes in and beats us, be 4-0.
Yeah.
Now you have to start. But I think till he gets there.
Burrows comes up with the big plays. I mean, against Cincy, they could be in their own one, they'll throw the ball. They could be in your one, they'll throw the ball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You never know what they're going to do. So, how do you see this game? And it really, to me, if the Bengals do a good job against Kelsey, I'm not sure the other receivers could take up the slack for the Chiefs.
They're decent, but Mahomes makes the plays. See, he keeps the. That's why his ankle
Keeps plays alive.
Yeah,
Right.
Many of their plays are broken plays
I'm
by
so
him.
tired of Kelsey just running through that defense like they don't know.
Catches 10-12 every game.
I mean, I said earlier that
You got to stop him
at
somehow.
some point, I'd rather have 2 on him and let Juju catch one.
Okay, now since he's won 3 straight against the Chiefs,
Yeah.
they won last year at Arrowhead.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to come in confident. They're even a little cocky, which isn't bad. It's not bad at all. How do you see the game? Give me a winner and a score.
31-28 Chiefs.
I say it's close, similar with George. I think the Chiefs are going to win at home.
I say Cincy 26-23.
No, it could easily.
That's well, you
about-
heard the scores.
Yeah,
we
and
think it's going to down there.
that over-under of 49, that's about, I'm assuming.
It's coming down to that.
Yeah.
It has to be because both those guys can score, as you said, from the one.
You know,
Either one.
as much as Mike Brown's been maligned over the years, they have, not all him, whoever else he has working for him, the GM, their cap people, they've done a pretty good job putting this defense together.
Pretty good.
That's where they put their money at.
You don't
get
there.
They were like the Steelers. It looks like they got a little more money for their investment.
Yeah, you don't get there. You don't get there, like you said, just 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
You know,
Any more today, you better have some smart cap people working
Oh.
behind you because no one person can figure it all
that's
out.
the whole thing. When you guys were talking about Jacksonville, comparing to the Steelers out, that's the first thing I thought of. Steelers knew they had those guys. Jacksonville does not.
Right.
Big
Well, Burrow, I'm asking you guys. I'm not sure. Is Burrow still on like a small contract? I'm thinking he hasn't played that long.
No, Joe, 5 years. No, he's not
They got some.
I'm saying that. Wait,
yeah.
See, they can
They
afford a
got
defense
some-
right now.
Right.
Wait till he gets the big money. All of a sudden, you'll say,
Absolutely.
"What happened to Cincinnati?"
Right, they got some big contracts coming up.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's coming. Not next year. I think the year after.
That changes everything.
When
When
you
you're
pay
quarterback.
Chase and
with
Burrow,
every
you
team.
can't have any money left.
Yeah.
All right, the NFC, the Eagles 38. Whatever that other team was, they didn't even show up. The Giants, no show on their defense. The Eagles crushed them. 268 yards rushing. Jalen Hurts looks pretty healthy, threw for 148 yards, and they just beat the Giants in every phase. It was over 21-0 in the first quarter. It was done.
Well, until lately, the 49ers, from the beginning of the year till
Yeah,
they were the best team of football.
yeah.
The Eagles were. Until Hurts got hurt, they throttled everybody.
Yeah.
They were great all year.
He has no losses. I think the game they lost, he didn't play.
I mean, they're
Two,
throttling everybody.
Yeah, they're 15-2.
and you can't be harder than San Francisco.
No, and let's go to the 49ers, 19-12 over the Cowboys. And saying that, talking about the cap, I think what they do from top to bottom, they just might be the best organization, arguably with the Chiefs, in the NFL. What they do, they've managed to make good trades, good draft picks, picked up a few free agents, and they
No,
do
not
a pretty
paying a
good
quarterback. That's
Yeah, well, that's the
the
key.
whole
And
thing.
so and Brock Purdy, the last pick in the draft, he's 7-0 as a starter. That's pretty.
Did you see the last time he and Hurts got together in college?
No.
Like 100 points.
Oh, did they?
48-47. He threw one on his back, so I don't know how he threw
And
it.
I heard all the experts say, "Well, now he's in this game. He's going to get rattled. He's
Yeah.
a rookie."
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Well, I don't think he's going to round because he's got San Francisco.
Yeah, get a veteran.
He doesn't
squad
have to
around
do
him.
much. He just has to talk about truly manage the game. He's got 4 guys around him and then Kittle made that play. Kittle make the
Kittle made
whatever,
the play.
whatever that play he made.
And they have so many weapons. Samuels.
Yeah,
and-
they held Debo to nothing.
Yeah,
and still couldn't beat them.
and McCaffrey didn't have his best game.
No, he only rushed for 30, 40 yards.
Yeah, but they picked up 113 yards rushing. The rushing game is back. You look at all the now in the Chiefs game, both the Chiefs and the Jags had 144 yards rushing, 113 yards rushing here for Frisco, but they shut down their defense. They alternate those guys. What do they use? 7 guys up front. They keep them fresh. Their front 7 is the best in pro football.
Well, there's a reason why rushing game's back, though. If you watch games every week, the 2 safeties are back 25 yards.
Good,
See,
keep 'em back.
everybody's playing pass now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They said, we'll give you 4 yards.
Yeah.
We're not giving you 100.
We're
And,
not giving you
the game-
54. We're
yeah,
giving you
and-
9
well,
sixes.
and that's why the scores are a little lower, because people are running the ball.
And the other thing is going to change. They're going to start paying more attention to the bigger middle linebackers like they used to have in the game.
Yeah.
Because I see some teams now, they don't even play a middle linebacker on some downs, and they get gouged up the middle.
They're saying the Browns got gouged all year.
Yeah.
Teams.
Well, hey, that's a good point you bring up. What about the hiring of Jim Schwartz? This is something I'm going to talk about after the Super Bowl. Evaluate the AFC North. I like the guy. What he did at Detroit, took over, was 0-16 in 3 years, took him to the playoffs. He's been a pretty good defensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah, he's really good.
See, I can't get the O out of my mind with him. The O wins.
Oh, they were so bad.
Yeah.
But George, in 2 years, he had them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends how you want to look at it there. So the 49ers, they held Dallas to just 76 yards rushing. Prescott threw 2 interceptions. Purdy didn't throw any.
Should have had one, though. Diggs dropped it right in his
Yeah.
hands. That
Oh.
changed the whole game around.
Oh, yeah.
You can't drop
Absolutely.
interceptions. You
Yeah.
can't drop.
How
Having so many games.
Hey, how many defensive backs dropped?
You're right.
possible
That's why they play
interceptions this year?
defense.
About,
We're
about
talking
100.
And absolutely no. And as you say, the kid who you thought would play nervous, I mean, maybe he isn't the greatest, but he sure managed the game well. They didn't lose.
He's a great
You know,
game, man.
it was 19 to 29, 214 yards,
Yeah, what's
and
wrong
you
with
know,
that?
what could have been a pick, but that's the old saying, you know, if the,
Yeah,
could have. Right.
if the rabbit didn't stop to take a dump, or the fox, he'd have caught the rabbit.
Yes, it's the truth.
So how do you see this game coming
Saved
up?
by field goal. I see the line coming into play. I look for last team. It's going to, I think, lower scoring. Both those D's are good.
Yeah,
I'm riding the Eagles. I rode the Eagles all along.
I'm going to say the Eagles 19-17.
I rode the Eagles.
Oh, that's low scoring.
The first to 20 wins in this
No,
game.
that's a low score.
You think it'll be more points?
No, I'm just saying. I bet it. What is it? 43 out, 44.
Right in the middle 40s.
No,
Has to be.
by the way, what's the spread in the Chiefs and the Bengals game?
Bengals are
Went
favored
from
now.
+1 to -1.
And
Bengals
in this game,
2.5.
Eagles.
Eagles.
2.5. Okay. Well,
Just pick the winner. That's all. You pick the winner in both games. We got to win. Yeah.
Right. Hey, and I just let's go to the Steelers now. Matt Canada is coming back. I'm not surprised. I don't know why people are acting surprised for this reason. First of all, Tomlin doesn't listen to the noise. He's gotten rid of 3 offensive coordinators. He has his hands on everything. He's not letting Canada do anything as an offensive coordinator that he doesn't approve of.
It's true in all kind of football. Yeah. And
Yeah.
and they finished strong. They won million games down the stretch. What was the record down the stretch?
7-2.
That's what I thought.
Canada
So,
was
yeah.
2-6.
And they're not paying 2 coaches. They don't.
No.
I mean, who thought they're going to pay a guy to do nothing?
He's not going to bring in some big
No.
star. He got rid of Arians, got rid of Randy Fichtner, and got rid of Todd Haley. So he's come for what he has. Hey, I found this out. This comes from I think Gary Dulac. I didn't know this. The Steelers' last 3 playoff losses, they gave up an average of 40 points in each of those games. It's the worst in NFL playoff history. And this I did not know. In the last 10 years, they've won 2 playoff games. The Houston Texans have won 4. So the Steelers, they got their work coming up
leg,
for them.
too.
We're gonna talk about who to draft. You mentioned offensive linemen.
Oh,
We're going to
yeah.
talk about that after the Super Bowl
Yeah.
evaluation.
And you know
of
the
it.
other thing too. You just look at the Bengals right now. Baltimore, you know, if they sign their quarterback, all of a sudden that league's tough. And Cleveland's still on. I don't care what they say. They should be better.
Are you giving Lamar the $240 million? He wants
They are going to give it to him. They're going to give
I
it
don't
to
know
him.
how they can.
all guaranteed.
He's already in the meetings for hiring a coach, so he's coming back. But I will say this, and that's why the NFL 3 years ago, as we sat here, guess who used to make fun of? The Bengals.
Yeah.
They can't win. They're the most pathetic
Right.
thing. All it takes is getting lucky.
Yeah.
One time.
Well,
with Burrow.
like you
Burrow,
said,
the quarterback.
like-
I mean, you
You
know,
know, that's what I'm saying. So things could change. That's the NFL.
Yeah.
It changes like that
Deshaun
instantly.
Watson has to be better next year. Has to be better.
He definitely
and,
will.
And their defense went from a very good. They were just everybody ran the ball on them. They didn't stop anyone running the ball.
No, that's what they said about the middle linebacker. They said the Schwartz likes bigger guy, like he's a Parcells.
That's what I like. Bigger middle linebackers.
Yeah.
Hey, National Hockey League, the Pens 23-15-8 as we head to the All-Star break. They are the consistency of inconsistency. They drive you crazy. One night, their defense is good, they lose 2-1. The next night, they score 4 or 5 goals. They lose 6-5, 7-5. Hard to figure out what's going on. Crosby has not been himself. I don't know if it's an injury, not sure what. Really, Malkin, I know a lot of people wanted to trade him. He's really holding up the second line. They've been doing most of the duty offensively for them.
I'll wait to the playoffs to talk about the Penguins because this is what they do every year. They're inconsistent during the year, and can they?
But more so this year than ever before.
Can they get better by the
They
playoffs?
don't get out of the first round of the playoffs.
That's what I said. What they do in the
4
playoffs.
straight.
Yep, what they do in the playoffs.
So you asked with GM Ron Hextall, is this seat, and I like Mike Sullivan as a coach, three Stanley Cup appearances, 2 cups, but is this seat getting a little warm?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems for some reason they'll bash Tomlin. Pirates they bash because they're so easy, but doesn't seem like he gets too much.
I don't think he's on a hot seat
You
at
don't
all.
think at all?
No.
And let me say this, there's a crazy thing. I know Jari gets a lot of heat, but it's not all him. He had 2 previous games. There were 80 shots on goal. That's not all on him. He's not getting any help from people.
Yeah, it's always been the MO for the Penguins during the season. You know, they always give up a lot of shots, like the open ice, like the skate, and we'll see. That's who the Penguins are.
Hey, Major League Baseball news, Andrew McCutchen, he's coming back to the Pirates on a 1-year deal. He said he wants to win. I'm not sure he's coming back to the right team for that. Last year for the Brewers, he had 17 homers, 68 RBIs.
Where's that put him in Pittsburgh? Like
237.
third best in or out?
Second best.
Second best?
Second best in home runs and RBIs.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, at 237.
He'll play 3 games a week. You know,
Yeah.
that's what they got.
I think it's a sentimental thing.
Yep,
Bring him back.
3 games a week. They need somebody like him with all these young kids. You can't play every young kid.
Sell
Some
some
have to stay in
tickets.
AAA. Some have to stay in AAA.
play every day.
Or they play every day.
That's right.
Or if they trade Reynolds. If
geez.
he's
You know, a lot
gone.
of people don't realize that. That's a good point Albert made. Like, if you bring them all up, like someone, like
Yeah,
with
that's
him,
it.
he's not going to play every day. But if you have a guy in Indianapolis, isn't it better for him to play every day,
So important.
every game?
Yeah, that's why you keep the young guys down there.
Yeah.
That's the only way. If you bring them all up at the same time, only 3 can play in the outfield. That means 2 are sitting. You want to play them down in Indianapolis.
And in 4 years, they're with the Yankees and the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's
Each
true.
side.
Playing for the Angels.
Hey, I'm going to mention the passing of Pirate slugger Frank Thomas at age 93. You know, he came up in the early 50s. In 1953, he hit his stride with 30 homers, 102 RBIs, and then he had his big year in 1958 when he slugged 35 homers, drove in over 100 runs. The Pirates traded him to Cincinnati for Don Hoke, Harvey Haddix, and Smokey Burgess. That's the nucleus for the 1960 World Championship team.
One thing, if you fans who don't like the Pirates now, they were much worse in the 50s. I'm telling you, they couldn't win 20.
They were losing 100.
Yeah, every game.
I wouldn't say much worse, but they were worse.
They were worse.
That was 8-team league, too.
Yeah.
And here's the trivia. Who did they trade with Frank Thomas to the Reds? They traded
I heard-
Whammy Douglas,
yeah,
a
Whammy
pitcher.
Douglas.
I got to
That
admit,
was-
I never heard of Whammy Douglas.
All right.
The Pirate fans, somebody write to Armstrong if you ever heard of Whammy Douglas.
Someone out there did. Hey, college basketball. The number 1 team in the area. Number 1, Division II, IUP. 17-0. It's the first time in like 30 years since California, I think, was
They're at the Rock
num-
Wednesday
number,
night.
number
people.
1.
They're at Slippery Rock Wednesday night.
I have to get up there and watch that game.
Yeah.
What a job Lombardo has done with that team since he left Pitt. They were 33-3 last year, so you look at that. They won 50 out of their last 53 games.
Joey is an outstanding person, outstanding coach, gets a great recruiter, has all the facilities, knows everything about IUP. Perfect fit for him.
And Pitt, 13-7, 6-3, ACC tied for third. Who saw this coming? This week, though, they take on 6-3 Wake, 6-3 Miami. I'm surprised at them being 13 after they got bombed early in the year.
Starting to leak a little bit. I see a little leak. I'm worried that
Yeah,
hope
this
they
is
take it back
big
out.
week.
Yeah.
Hope they
like,
take it
like
back
that
out.
home game Saturday. If you want to make the tournament, you can't lose home games.
And here's the thing. They've been averaging prior to this season about 8,000 a game. They had 10,000 last week
Winning.
for the game.
They get the
and
zoo
it
back.
still wasn't sold out.
Right.
It's 12-5, but they're excited that they had 10,000 at the game.
Absolutely.
And now a program that's on a decline. You wonder what's going on. WVU 11-8, 1-6 in the Big 12. they've had trouble in the Big 12 for, 3-4 years, and they just can't win in the Big 12.
You know, it's funny. Jamie
The Big
Dixon,
12's pretty good.
Jamie Dixon comes in. He lost
Yeah.
11 straight years to them there. The next game, he whoops up on Kansas, who's now lost 3 in a row.
Isn't that something?
Big 12 is the #1 conference in the country.
Oh, it's excellent basketball.
And West Virginia is not getting the best players. You
No.
understand? And there's a reason. Huggy should be out of there. And he's one of my favorite coaches of all time.
I like them too.
Yeah, one of my
but there
favorite-
comes a
but,
point.
No, at this point, when he says to the player, "Go run on that," with that, what's on the side, George? What's it called? Walk or whatever it's called. They look at him and say, "That was in 1970 treadmill.
Yeah.
That was in 1995. I'm not running on that thing. If you make me run on that, I'm going to I'm transferring."
Okay,
It's
and
changed.
you say that about him. Mike Bray stepping down at Notre Dame.
He knew better. He knew.
20, he knows.
He knew.
In 23 years, he's not recruiting like he did before. After they had those back-to-back years when the ACC championship, back-to-back Elite Eights, it's gone. It's been in
He sees
decline.
it. He sees that portal and that NIL. It's changed everything. It has changed everything.
6 of Pitt's players are.
Oh, yeah, it's changed everything.
And talking about that, college football, who's #1 transfer portal? Coach Prime's brought in 24 players to Colorado.
He said he was gonna
When
do
he
it.
went there, he told the players that he met with, "You're welcome to leave."
He told
because I'm changing things
Bringing
here.
Louis, he said he's bringing Louis.
And he brought in a good coaching staff.
Well, his son's a good quarterback
And
right away.
He's getting the attention of some of the
We're going
best
to find
players
out on
in
the
the
field.
country.
Though. A lot of people,
under.
a lot of people win.
Hey, that's my big under.
Is it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of people win big in the off season. You got to
he
win
was
on the
in
field.
that league where he didn't have running water. Of course, he beat
Yeah.
those teams. You know, Oregon has recruits too.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what
Absolutely.
happens. Hey, here's our trivia question. What percentage of high school football players, about 1 million or more, make it to the NFL?
0.1%.
I'll say 2%.
0.23%.
So I was close. I was
2
close.
Yeah. Hey, that's it for us. We run out of time. We'll see you next week.
Some companies will tell you they have the best customer service.
No, I'm sorry. That's not a part of our policy. We can't really help you there.
Some companies will tell you they have the best technical support.
Yeah, let me just put you on with somebody from technical support right now. Please hold. Technical support, how can I help you?
Some companies will tell you that your call is very important. Only Armstrong provides you with the customer service you deserve.
How do you choose the smart home and security system that's right for your family? The answer is Guardian Protection, a fully integrated system so that all your smart home and security devices work together, like smart locks, smart lights, doorbell cameras, video cameras, and more. And with advanced artificial intelligence technology, Guardian Protection creates a smarter, safer home for you, all controlled from one single app. The right choice for your family.